right, good evening everybody. It is going to be a quick stream tonight since we are starting so late once again. But tonight we're going to be talking about Nike's earnings report. In addition to going into Nike's earnings report, we are going to be talking about the national gas tax levies that are going to be coming off in hopes to provide a little bit of relief to consumers. So it seems like governors and even bipartisan membership of Congress are really agreeing that we should be lifting all of the taxes on gasoline to try to make gasoline a little bit more affordable for the average American, especially in this climate. We'll talk about if that's a good idea or a bad idea, and we will also go into Nike's go-to-market strategy for their online sales. So let's see who we have in the chat. Hey, I see Bianca M, good to see you. The one and only Vinny Castellano, Shauno is here. Says first, hello, good to see you. The ABX girl is here, Sally. Mr. Jones is here, Joey Otto, Ruby Falcone says howdy, Tom. You know, I actually think I do have the microphone tonight, so let me actually try to put the mic on, because I think it's going to be quite windy out tonight. Okay, let me know how the audio is now. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Lee Arnold says, Tom, the whole fuel price situation seems to be climate related, says Lee. It could possibly be. Very interesting. Estelle says, hey, Tom, how you doing? Buy the book is here. Fredex says, good evening, all. Jay says, hey, Tom, building is where your office is. Yes, it is in the WeWorks. So let me know how the new mic sounds. We do have a microphone for tonight because it's so windy. We're supposed to get a little bit of a passing rainstorm, so just bear with us. But Nike beat earnings, as we talked about briefly yesterday. Also on the Behind the Street newsletter as well, we briefly wrote a piece about how Nike beat earnings expectations, so in terms of EPS and earnings per share, as well as their revenue. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So Nike shares rose about 6% in after-hours trading yesterday after a blowout earnings report. The company's stock is down almost 22% this year through Monday's close, compared with roughly 6% for the S&P 500. So we'll go into the earnings report. Let me know how the mic is working in terms of the wind noise. Let's see if we see any sensible reduction here. Hey, I see sunshine after rain. Good to see you, sunshine. My friend Ruby Falcone is here. Good to see you, Ruby. Well, supposedly, I think there is a curfew of about 12 o'clock for Miami due to some incidents with the spring breakers, so we're going to have to watch out for that. Chris Beeman, the one and only, is here. Good to see you, Chris. I hope you had a good day. Jane M says the audio is great. Very good, thank you. Hey, Janelle Chapman is here. Says, hey, Tom, good to see you. Estelle, good to see you, Estelle. Minraj is here. And Fredex. Good to see everybody. Hey, Western Mass Dave, good to see you for a live stream, my friend. Hope everything is working well with you. So we are overlooking South 7th Street. And this is actually one of the oldest bars, I believe, in the United States, or at least in Miami. Two Wheel Pines is here. Says, what's up, Tom? Alan Wilson says, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Western Mass Dave, good to see you. So just another quick reminder, yesterday after the market closed, I did send out the 19th edition of the Behind the Street newsletter, which is a free financial newsletter that I write every single Monday for all of you. So if you're not signed up yet, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link in the description of the chat where you guys could sign up and read it for free. Chris Beeman says, I like this mic. Sounds like you were right there in my apartment. Wow. Yeah, so Chris, this is a wired microphone, so perhaps the sound or the audio should sound a little bit better. Hey, Elliott Wave Review says, good evening, everybody. Good to see you, Elliott Wave. Robert is here. Ruby says informative, well-written, and appreciated, Tom. Love the newsletter. Hey, thank you, Ruby. I appreciate that. And thank you for everybody who's been signing up. I think we have over 700 people now that are signed up to the Behind the Street newsletter. It's crazy how fast it has grown. So thank you, everybody, for reading my work. But there was an interesting article today I was reading about in the Wall Street Journal where it seems like unanimously, and there's not many things that really Republicans and Democrats tend to agree on. And the point of the chat tonight is not to get political, but it seems like the majority of states are going to roll back their gas taxes, or the taxes that they place upon fuel. And as I was reading the article, the two states that have the highest gasoline taxes are, you guessed it, California, New York, and Hawaii. So it seems like in order to give Americans a little bit of relief, it seems like we are going to have a lot of these taxes removed. But there's a lot of analysts on Wall Street. There was a big report coming out of BlackRock that says this really won't do anything. It really won't materialize to much. But we'll see. What do you guys think? And what I wanted to do is just take a quick poll in the chat to see where gasoline prices are in your neck of the woods. So let us know. I remember a couple streams ago we did this quick survey in the chat, and Los Angeles, California was by far the most expensive in terms of gasoline. So we're putting the microphone to the test tonight. It is windy. I'm not sure if you guys could hear the wind blowing, so let me know. Hey, Daryl is here from Chicago, Illinois. Hey, Daryl, good to see you. Humane says, great evening, Tom. Love Brickell. Good to see you, Humane. We're not going to be able to spend much time here today, unfortunately, mainly because I got to get the bus. But this is the Metro Mover station, Brickell City Center Station, 59th Street and 59 Southeast 8th Street here. Hey, the ABX girl says, Tom, it is $3.80 a gallon in North Carolina this morning. That's actually not too bad. It seems like it's come down a bit. Hey, Robert says, Tom, it is $6.49 for diesel in San Francisco. Wow. The Swan says, geez, Tom, the color of that fast car on the road is like a giraffe. Interesting. Ruby Falcone says, Tom, in Central California, we are at $5.09. My sister in Los Angeles is $7.49. Oh my God. Ruby, that's insane. Nicole B. Winning says, yes, it's pricey here. $7.45 in my area. That's insane. Yeah, so according to the article, the highest gasoline prices were California took the number one spot. Then I believe, let's take a look here. Then it was Hawaii, Nevada, Illinois, New Jersey, and New York. But it seems like the big idea on the street is that let's just roll back a lot of these gasoline taxes, and hopefully we will provide some relief to people out there. Hey, 61 says, Tom, it is $3.89 here in Costco in Miami Lakes, Florida. James says it's $3.60 in Wisconsin. Susan says $4.69 in Vancouver, Washington. Yeah, it seems like the West Coast is having a little bit of a harder time with the gas. Hey, Chris is $2.20 a liter in South Sydney, Australia. Hey, Chris. We have a lot of Australian viewers, so thank you everybody from Australia for being here. Appreciate it. Estelle says $2.30 a liter here in Melbourne. Pretty still expensive. Pretty expensive. Mike 940. Let's see what Mike has to say. Says, Tom, thoughts on Saudis might accept Chinese currency in replacement of the US dollar? Yeah, so we briefly talked about this. Essentially what is happening is Saudi Arabia is supposedly they're having talks to price oil in the Chinese yuan. But in my opinion, I don't think that'll ever materialize, because essentially the petrodollar is protected by the might of the military-industrial complex in the United States. And also, you got to understand something. Saudi Arabia drills a lot of oil, but who provides the protection to those Saudi oil fields? It's the United States military. So, hey, so if there was any time there was a situation where that would materialize, where Saudi Arabia is like, okay, we're going to now price oil in Chinese yuan, you know, the United States could easily just say, okay, then we're not going to protect the oil fields anymore. So I'm not too sure the validity of that. It just seems more like a political move to try to test the Biden administration. But I would like to know your guys' thoughts on that. I would like to know your thoughts on that. Hey, Lydia's here. This is cool. Rainbow light car. Good to see you, Lydia. Hey, photos from around New York. What's up, photos? Shannon says, wouldn't it be nice if everyone don't use gas for one day? The oil companies would go belly up. Yeah, I don't think that's possible because, you know, a lot of people just think about oil in terms of the production of gasoline for cars, right? But literally almost every single product in the world uses oil for production. So I think it's a little bit more complex than a lot of people make it out to seem. It's not that simple, but I do understand your premise there. Elliott Wave Reviews says, Tom, China could easily offer protection as well for those fields in exchange for their currency being accepted, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, Elliott Wave Review, but the only thing, I mean, it's not as simple as saying, oh, we'll provide the protection. Because don't you think that would create some sort of armed conflict between the US and China? And I don't think China's in the business of wanting to do that. But look, I could be wrong, but that is a pretty interesting thesis there. Hey, Robert says Saudi Arabia doesn't want a bunch of yuan in their banks, says Robert. Look, so here's the one thing I will say. Even though the United States, there's a lot wrong with the US in terms of the economy, in terms of the debt system that we're in with the Federal Reserve printing money, and now the Federal Reserve has to figure out how to unwind a near $9 trillion balance sheet. And I understand that, but if you look to other countries around the world, it's not, there's an old saying, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You know, you look at China and you look at the Chinese commercial paper market, in which we talk about all the time on the channel, that is probably the biggest ticking time bomb I have ever seen in my life. So even though the United States has its problems, you know, inflation is running wild here, but on the other hand, you could say, look, everywhere else in the world, it's a mess, right? So I think, which country is in the least mess right now? And I don't know. Interesting point though. Hey, Robert says, Tom, plastic, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, asphalt all come from oil. You're right. So this is the Merrill building, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America Merrill Lynch building right here. And let me know, guys, is the microphone doing anything to cut down on the wind noise? Because it is extremely windy right now. Vernon Dan, Elliott Wave Review, good to see you. Photos from around New York. Mohammed is here, says good morning from Malaysia. Welcome everybody from Malaysia. I see Chris. Sebastian is here, says hey Tom, good to see you. Lee Arnold, what's up Lee? Yeah, Western Mass Dave says it's all a cluster. Humane says you sound great to me, Tom. Can't tell it's windy. Very cool. Well, that's good. So as I was talking about earlier, I went to the Apple store 3 separate times to try to get the little adapter. I believe it's called the lightning cable to auxiliary. And we finally got it. It was finally in stock today, so not too bad. Hey, AG is here. It says, good morning from India. Welcome. Good to see you, AG. Hey, Nick Rock says, big difference, hardly any wind noise. Awesome. Nicole, thank you. Very good, very good. Giselle BR says, Miami or New York City to start. To start what? To start a business, are you talking about? Joseph says, hey Tom, do you have any interest in the crypto space, specifically with the path the US dollar is on? Yeah, absolutely. So I do have exposure to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we do have a press pass to the Bitcoin 2022 conference. So we will actually be live at the Miami Bitcoin 2022 conference, where we will be live streaming Michael Saylor's keynote speech, as well as Max Kaiser. In addition to, I think the biggest keynote speaker that I'm looking forward to is Cathie Wood, and she is the CEO and founder of ARK Invest. So all of those very high beta ETFs that have gotten crushed over the past year. But I think Cathie Wood is extremely, extremely smart. Really, just probably one of the most powerful women on Wall Street. So very excited to get the chance to see her speak. Hey G-Rock, it's good to see you, my friend. Sebastian says, hey Tom. Giselle says, to start a business, I think you should start in New York City to build connections. I think it's easier. I think it's easy to build connections or a big book of business in New York. But once you're established, I think probably the tax advantages are a little bit better in Miami or Florida. Vernon Dan, we can't have any of that. I apologize. Sparks says Elon Musk needs to learn how to dance. That Tesla German factory opening was hysterical. I saw that too. Traverse, we are using a microphone, yes. All right, so we'll cross the street and we will head back over to downtown Miami. Warwalker, good to see you. You know what, Warwalker, let's do this. We'll do that. Good to see you, Warwalker. So one of the most notable things about Nike's earnings report was, despite all of the crazy supply chain disruptions globally, you know, Nike actually managed to expand their profit margins. So usually in an environment of really high inflation, as well as an environment where supply chain disruptions are really prevalent, usually you see margin compression. So a lot of companies that are either startup companies or don't have that good of a brand will usually probably suffer a little bit of margin compression. So for example, let's say if you have 12% gross margins in an environment of inflation, also in an environment where supply chain and logistical nightmares are present, which is right now, margins will tend to compress. But one of the most notable things about Nike's earnings report was that they actually had margin expansion. And I think one of the main reasons for this is because a big brand like Nike, people are willing to still spend money for quality products. You think about an iPhone, you think about a pair of Nike tennis shoes, people want these products, right? But let's say, for example, I open up a clothing brand, you know, Walks on Wall Street clothing brand, right? I don't have that big of a brand as Nike, where if it's an inflationary environment and let's say my raw materials go up 30%, it's going to be almost impossible for me to pass those costs on to consumers. But with Nike, let's say if all of their raw materials go up 30%, they could probably raise their prices 40% and people would still want to buy their products and services. So I think the lesson here to be learned is that whenever we enter a period of inflation, if you're going to own individual stocks, you probably want to focus on companies with very, very strong profit margins and big brands where people will still buy their products even though it's more expensive. Hey, Lori E is here. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Yes, Sparks says, Tom, Nike has been pushing into the metaverse as well. You are right. And online sales came in better than expected too. You know, I think the traditional brick and mortar businesses, those companies that will be able to transition over to digital sales and online sales the fastest, will probably win out. Hey, Ron says, good evening, Tom. Nice and clear stream, thank you. Thank you, Ron, appreciate it. So we are standing outside of 600. I think this is Brickell Plaza. But good to see you, Ron. Tom AK is here. Hey, Tom. Welcome, welcome. Sparks is here. Good to see you. Hey, Luis Vasquez. Good to see you, my friend. This is a beautiful night in Miami. Hope all is well, Tom. You as well, Luis. Thank you for joining. Traverse Reaction says your audio sounds professional. Yeah, I just bought this, I think it was like $10 off Amazon. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hopefully it'll knock out some of the wind noise. Rusty says, hey Tom, love your videos. Thank you for being here, Rusty. I appreciate it. Photos from around New York. How was the weather tonight in New York? Or weather today? Supposedly it was almost 65 degrees last weekend. Hey, Cash Out Raven, App Fund Source says there's a lot of issues to discuss during live stream. What building is that? So this one right in front of us is called the W Hotel, which is a very expensive hotel here in Brickell. I believe it's almost $300 a night. Hey, Lori E says, Tom, your audio is extra sharp tonight. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. Western Mass Dave says, beautiful palms. Hey, Cindy Foley, the one and only. Good to see you, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Abdullah is here. Says, hey Tom, great video and topics as usual. Abdullah, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. We have a little bit of a different scene, Abdullah. We are here in Miami. But we are going to walk across the bridge. Hopefully we'll be able to see some yachts. Check out this guy on the skateboard. Ruby Falcone says, Tom, how are you adjusting to your new iPhone mini? You know, Ruby, I think it's actually probably a little bit better than my old 11. I think just the phone was too big. This is like the perfect size. It fits in your pocket. I think a lot of the other iPhones are way too big, but maybe that's just me. Hey, Kimberly says, hello, hope you're all doing well. It's a bit stormy where I live. We had some tornado warnings in New Orleans. Wow. But hopefully it will be blue skies tomorrow. Kimberly, hopefully you're right. Carter's here, says, hey Tom, good to see you, brother. Good to see you as well. 61 says, Tom, was wondering if you will live today from Bayfront Park, the stage from Ultra Music Festival. Yeah, so we're going to walk there right now on this extremely windy night. But hopefully the mic is, clouding out a lot of the wind noise. Hey, Dante Rose is here. Good to see you, Dante. So Nike sales grew in the latest period as the sneaker maker benefited from gains in its digital business while navigating supply chain issues and getting factories in Asia where its goods are made back to full production. So if you guys remember correctly, there was a major outbreak or another outbreak of the Big C. We won't say its name because we will get demonetized, but it looks like a lot of those factories in China are back up and running. Supposedly there was over 5 million people that were unfortunately on lockdown in China due to another flare-up of the virus. But it seems like they're slowly but surely getting things under control. So it's really interesting that in an environment where supply chains are so messed up, where inflation is running rampant and factories are closed, going in and out of production, that Nike can continue to beat earnings expectations. Now, it wasn't a big beat, right? And if you buy Nike stock, it's not like you're going to be buying a turbocharged growth stock like we talk about. But, for a company of Nike's size, to manage all those employees, to manage the logistics, to manage the supply chain, that management is very competent. So it was let's just say it was very good news to see that. So the company posted revenue of $10.9 billion for the quarter ended February 28th. That was up 5% from a year earlier. Analysts on Wall Street expected revenue of $10.6 billion, easily beating revenue expectations. So this is the Aston Martin building here. Hey Tom, AK, this is Tom. The invasion is never going to end. Hopefully it ends sooner rather than later, honestly. Tony Cortez says, what's up, Walks in Wall Street, and everybody, happy Tuesday. Good to see you, Tony. The one and only British Gray is here. Hey, British Gray from Tampa, Florida. Good to see you. And the one and only Mighty Bull says, hello again, Tom. Good to see you, Mighty Bull. Mohammed says, good morning from Malaysia. And RJ says, hola from Colorado. Good to see you, RJ. Welcome. So now that we talked about the revenue, let's talk about the profit. So profit in Nike's fiscal third quarter was roughly flat at $1.4 billion. On a per share basis, that works its way out to 87 cents a share compared with a year earlier. So $1.4 billion in quarterly profit for Nike. Pretty much unchanged since last year, but being that they're navigating all of these supply chain issues, I think it's a pretty solid quarter. Check out the Capitol Grill here. We always walk past this on Wall Street. Hey, I see Ron, Metro TV. Hey, Ron. Hope you're doing well. Arturo Flores says, hello, Tom, from Salinas, California, aka the Salad Bowl. Very interesting. Hey, I see my friend Jimmy Anderson. Good to see you, Jimmy. Welcome. Virginia Garner says, welcome to Miami. Hey, Virginia. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ron Metro TV says, Tom, do you think there is a massive effect if China gets included in Russian sanctions? I think there probably would be, yeah. If China does, yes. I think if China gets sanctioned, I think that'll be a big issue. Because if we talk about economic activity in terms of global GDP, who are the two biggest powerhouses? It's the United States and China. And that's why I don't agree with a lot of the world central bankers. So we heard from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and he's blaming a lot of this inflation on the Ukraine crisis. But I'm not really buying it, because interest rates are going to go up no matter what anyway. So judging based upon the fact that rates are going to rise regardless, doesn't matter if it was Putin invading Ukraine, doesn't matter if, Russia invades Poland, it doesn't matter. They were going to raise rates anyway. So for central banks around the world to say, if we go into an economic downturn, it's going to be the fault of Vladimir Putin, I just don't really think that makes sense. Even though what Putin is doing right now is egregious, but if you think it just does, I think they're just trying to blame or scapegoat, the actions that Russia is taking to Ukraine on all this inflation. We had crazy inflation prints way before this anyway. We had crazy inflation prints 6 months before Russia even did anything to Ukraine. Hey, Cosmos. Abdullah says if China is sanctioned, that will create new global market system, which is not good. No benefits of doing that. You could be right. Could be right, Abdullah. So my biggest fear is this. I think what's going to happen is, I think the world central bankers, so not only the Federal Reserve, but the European Central Bank and central bankers globally, they're just going to blame all of the inflation, every single piece of this inflation, on Russia. And if you don't agree with that, they're going to turn around and say, oh, see, if you don't agree with us, you're justifying what Vladimir Putin's doing. It's going to be the most ridiculous thing. And it's just going to cause more division. But I think this is a way for central bankers to get away with over a decade of money printing. I mean, the Federal Reserve has been buying mortgage-backed securities and been buying U.S. Treasuries for years. And if you read the Behind the Street newsletter that I released to everybody yesterday, I actually included a link where you guys could track the Federal Reserve's balance sheet in real time. So if you type !news, NEWS, the Nightbot will drop the link where you could actually check the Federal Reserve's balance sheet in real time. So the inflation didn't just happen because Russia invaded Ukraine. We've been printing money a long time. Not even under Biden. We've been printing a ton of money under President Donald Trump too. So he is definitely to blame for a lot of this inflation as well. So, but I think they're just going to scapegoat somebody. Richard Walters says inflation is likely to last until 2030. Yeah, let's hope not. Marty Lewis says, hello everybody. Hey Marty, good to see you. I feel like it's extremely loud here in Miami today. I feel like a lot of the Miami drivers, they don't have exhaust pipes. Hey, Santo is here. Good to see you, Santo. Khan says up is down, left is right. That's how it goes, indeed. Elliott Wave Reviews says, Tom, do you know if it's true that the Roman Empire collapsed because they started debasing their currency by turning gold and silver coins into copper and bronze or something like that? There's a really good book where it details the entire history of fiat currencies, going back to the original fiat currency ever created. The book is called The Bitcoin Standard. And you don't have to read it, you don't have to like Bitcoin, you don't have to even pay attention to it. But the first half of the book has nothing to do with Bitcoin. The first half of the book is a historical outline of fiat currencies going back thousands of years. So I would highly recommend that book. It's called The Bitcoin Standard. Ooh, it's so windy. And it really outlines fiat currencies and why they're so horrible. G Hope says, Tom, if you don't agree with the approved narrative, your social score is going to drop, and that is going to limit your ability to participate. Yeah, a lot of those videos out of some other countries are crazy with the social credit scores. Those are nuts. Bit of Wander says, Tom, the Roman Empire collapse was very complicated. It wasn't one thing like that. The Goths/Visigoths disagree with your theory. Interesting. Good to see a Bit of Wander. Hope you had a good Tuesday. Lena Sandoval is here. Good to see you, Lena Sandoval. Paul says, is it a dry wind? It's a little bit humid here. A little bit humid. All right, so let's walk over. Hopefully it'll be less windy down this block. And we will check out the, what is it called? The Ultra Music Festival? I think they're setting everything up now. I think the entire stage is already built, so we'll check it out. 007, good to see you. So this is East 2nd Street. We're gonna make a right, and that should take us right to Bayside. I think it's called Bayside Park, I believe. Hey, Cynthia Beal, this is Tom. I found the Bitcoin Standard on PDF. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, so I think there's actually a free audiobook. If you type the Bitcoin Standard on YouTube, I think they have a free audiobook. You know, there's a lot to be said for YouTube. They have a ton of free audiobooks on there. So all of the Peter Lynch books, so like One Up on Wall Street, all of those, every single one of them is for free on YouTube, audiobooks. Arturo Flores says, are you buying any stocks this week? Yeah, so we did have a follow-through day, so I added a small position in NVIDIA and Palo Alto Networks. But that's not a recommendation to buy any stock. Tony Cortez, good to see you. So here's another major development that's going here in downtown Miami. It is called the Plaza at Southeast Financial Center. And I believe it's going to be over 10,000 square feet of space. So 10,000 square feet of new dining and retail, and 30,000 square feet of commerce, culture, and a convenient connection. It seems like there's a new development on every block here. Hey, Cosmo Scary says, wow, Miami is just getting better and better. Good to see you, Cosmo. Hope you had a good day today. Bit of Wander says 10K feet of retail isn't so much. Yeah, I think that there's not a lot. I think due to zoning regulations, Bit of Wander, you're actually not allowed to build a lot of retail storefront space here. Because what happens is a lot of the basements of these buildings actually flood. So if you'll notice, a lot of the buildings like this one, almost the entire first floor is a parking garage. So in a lot of the new developments, especially in that 1000 museum, the first like 5 stories of the building is all just parking garage. So when the water comes up, it won't ruin anything. Which I think is a good idea. Also, nobody really goes into a place to do brick and mortar retail anyway. Oh, here's the Metro Mover. Richard says, I'm planning to move to Miami when I retire. I think you're gonna like it, it's beautiful. So this is the Metro Mover at Bayfront Park Station. Hey, Brian says, hey Tom, did all those spring breakers leave Miami yet? So I don't think so. Supposedly, spring break will end on Sunday. But I think there's actually a curfew now in Miami because I believe there were 2 murders in South Beach, as well as a bunch of hit and run accidents. We actually saw one live on the stream, which was crazy. Yeah, Ron Metro TV says it's all buildings on stilts. So this is the Intercontinental Hotel here. Hey, Javier SN95 says lots of New Yorkers are moving to Miami because the politicians they picked are messing everything up. Is that true? Well, I mean, here's my take on it. I think the narrative, hold on, I'll give you guys one more look at the Miami Tower. I think the narrative that New Yorkers are moving to Miami in record numbers, is a little bit misleading because as a New Yorker myself, that's been going on since the 60s. I mean, New Yorkers, especially Long Islanders, have been, buying property in Miami, West Palm for years. It's nothing new. I think it's just potentially like a media talking point, just because we've had a massive uptick in crime in New York. But look, the migration from New York to Florida has been going on forever. But a lot of the New Yorkers that buy property in Florida, they don't leave New York forever, right? Like in my case, I'm going to split my time 50-50 between New York and Miami, Florida. NPC 007 says Tom is in deep denial. Possible. Andy S says larger cities have more crime. I don't know. Good to see you, Andy S, and good to see you, NPC 007. 61 says there were 2 related shootings but no dead. Yeah, I mean, this happens every year. There tends to be a lot of spring breakers coming here, causing a lot of trouble, I guess. Lily Ray is here. Hey, Lily, it's good to see you. Welcome. Yogi says, is the crime in New York City going down? I think it'll go down in due time. At least I hope it does. Western Mass Dave, good to see you. Leah is here. Says, good evening all. Ron Metro TV says it's actually a good idea for places prone to flooding. Yogi says the college kids are murdering people. I think there was a couple shootings, and I think what happens is a lot of people come here for spring break and then they rent cars. Like they rent like sports cars and they try to drive them fast to impress their friends and stuff like that. Which I never understood. I don't get that. But maybe I'm just a different person. But here we have the setup to the Ultra Music Festival. Hey, Paul says, will you be watching any of the Miami Open? I will, and I'm very excited for that. So there's going to be a big tennis event, to your point. Extremely excited. Hey, Dallas is here. Says, hey, Tom, and good evening. What's up, Dallas? Good to see you. Laura E says, I think Tom is an optimist, not in denial. G Hopes is for disagreeing with narrative negative 10 social score points. Jeez. Hey, Alan Wilson says, I think you're right about it having gone on forever, but I think right now more people are moving permanently and working remotely. You're right. You're definitely right. And so now, I mean, to Alan Wilson's point, Miami is now the most expensive city, and we were talking about this a couple streams ago when we said the rents in Miami have gone up more than any other city in the United States. And I think it's either Miami is number 1, and number 2 could have been Austin, Texas, but I could be wrong about that. And rents of single-family homes in Miami have gone up 38%, the highest anywhere. And obviously the reason for that is there's literally no supply. In Miami-Dade, there's no supply of single-family homes. There's literally like none for sale. And the ones that are for sale are going for ridiculous prices. I mean, just insane. For a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, I see some that's going for like $550,000, which is insane. Hey, Sparks says, Tom, Wells Fargo was up 4.4% today. Also, Starbucks in their hometown, Seattle, voted to unionize. Trouble ahead? I don't know. I don't think it'll be any trouble ahead, to be totally honest with that. I already think that one in particular Starbucks store is already unionized. Hey, Melee is here. Says, hey, Tom, good evening. Hey, I see Lee. What's up, Lee? So, Lee, thank you for your email. I saw the video you sent me. That's crazy. So I guess it was another hit and run accident. Hey, Yes Forever 18 says Magic City is hot in the summer. Big Apple is cooler in the summer. Many New Yorkers move to Miami during the winter. Agreed. I wouldn't say New York City is cool in the summer. I mean, I lived my entire life there in the summer, and let me tell you, it can get freaking ripping hot in Manhattan during the summer. Trust me. Yogi says, how strong can a union be if it's just employees from one store? Look, I'm not too educated on what's going on at Starbucks, but I do believe that there's already one unionized shop. But maybe it'll spread, maybe it won't. We'll see. But here's the thing, I think out of any, let's just call it like retail job, I think that's fair to say. Out of any retail job, I think that Starbucks treats their employees the best in comparison to working at, let's say, a McDonald's or something. You know, one of my good buddies in college used to work at Starbucks, and he was getting like he was getting like company shares of stock, he was getting medical insurance, and he was a part-timer. Or no, I think he was a full-timer. But still, for working at a coffee shop, he was getting medical benefits, he was participating in the employee stock purchase program, and Starbucks was paying for his college. He was going to college online, and he was getting it paid for. So I think Starbucks is probably one of the better, let's just say, retail jobs that you could get. Hey, UPS One says there are a few unionized Starbucks now. Yeah, Cynthia Beal says Trader Joe's is also a good employer. That is true. Trader Joe's is very good. Paul Stein says Howard Schultz will work out the issues. So I don't think Howard Schultz is in the picture anymore. And I believe the new CEO, Kevin Johnson, well, he's not new anymore. He's been there for a while. I think Kevin Johnson is stepping down as CEO. Is that correct? Emilio J says, Tom, do you think there is a market in Miami for a restaurant specializing in iguanas? I have no idea, man, to be totally honest. Sparks says, everybody loves Trader Joe's. Agreed. Western Mass Dave says, that's a good incentive. Help with college tuition. Yeah, I believe the University of Phoenix is 100% free if you work at Starbucks. So this is the setup of the Ultra Music Festival. I think the main stage is going to be down here though. Hey, Ed Podcast says, hey Tom, saw on the news about Miami, kind of sad. That's why AK moved. Saw on the news about what happened in Miami. Take Me to the Sea says, I lived in the middle of New York City for 1 year. Summer was brutal without that nice Gulf breeze. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, New York City, you know, when I used to, you know, this was pre-COVID, you know, obviously I would have to go into the office and wear a full suit and on a crazy hot. It is hot. It gets really hot in New York. Trust me. But I actually like the what's it called? The humidity. Paul Stein says Howard Schultz is back. Interesting. I didn't know that. Is Howard Schultz really back as interim CEO of Starbucks? Wow. That's fantastic news, Paul. So I did want to share for all of our global macro people out there, you know, there's a lot of people that are extremely into macroeconomics. And Ray Dalio came out with an unbelievable video about the changing new world order. And for all of you global macro junkies out there, you gotta check out this video. So in last week's edition of the Behind the Street newsletter, at the very end, I put a link to Ray Dalio. And for those of you who don't know who Ray Dalio is, I think everybody does, but he is the founder of Bridgewater Associates. which is the largest hedge fund by assets. One of the most successful hedge funds ever created by Ray Dalio. They're based in Connecticut. So if you type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter. Click the link, scroll down to the bottom of the article, and play the video. It's about a 40-minute video, but it's all about a changing new world order. It talks about central banking, it talks about money printing, and it also talks about how the rise and fall of major empires around the world throughout history have been caused by getting tied up in unnecessary wars. So Ray Dalio talks about how we spent trillions of dollars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and how it's really putting us at a disadvantage because we continue to just money print and get involved in foreign wars, which really leaves us exposed to other foreign powers that are investing in their citizens at home. So it is just an unbelievably well put together piece. I don't agree with absolutely everything in the video, but I think it's worth the watch. And let me know what you guys think about. Let me know what you guys think about the video. Or maybe you've already watched it before. New York says, is this from the Lex Friedman podcast? No, it is not. This is a sequel to Principles by Ray Dalio. So I believe about 2 years ago now, Ray Dalio came out with a book called Principles, which talks about debt cycles and economic cycles. So central banks tightening monetary policy, easing monetary policy, raising interest rates, cutting interest rates. And now he is going on to write another book that focuses around the rise and fall of empires. And essentially his whole thesis is just like how the markets or the stock market will have a cycle, a bull and the bear cycle, the same thing can happen with empires. And a lot of people don't understand, or it's really not in their frame of mind, that the United States is a very, very young empire, right? We are an extremely, extremely young country. So we only remember the good times in the United States being the world superpower. And historically, if you look back through history, superpowers don't always stay superpowers. So I'll stop rambling, but watch the video. It's phenomenal. If you have 45 minutes, if you come home from work, or if you're commuting to work on the bus or the train, pop on the video. You're gonna love it. It's fantastic. Hey, Lady O is here. Good to see you, Lady O. Hope you had a good day. Falling iguanas says Miami doesn't put up with the liberal policies. I believe I do understand what you're saying. I think that's more Florida, but I do believe the vast majority of Miami are Democratic voters. Yes, Forever 18 says one of the reasons that causing people moving out of New York because of gentrification. That is true. That is true. Gentrification is an issue. But although, it does make communities safer, but I understand what you're saying. It pushes a lot of natives out, and that is a problem. Hey, Ruben is here. Good to see you, Ruben. So it looks like the Paramount Tower is still lit up for St. Patrick's Day. You could see the shamrocks bouncing around in the building, which is kind of cool. Lori E, good to see you. Mike C says this would be the world record for shortest empire if the USA loses its dominance anytime soon. Mike C, did you see that video that Ray Dalio put out? And if so, what did you think? Occult says hello from Mexico. Good to see you. Yeah, Joseph, I'm a big fan of Mayor Suarez, but we won't get too political on the stream. Mike says, with all the walking around you do, you should be sponsored by a sneaker company. That is funny. We probably go through more shoes than the average person, for sure. For sure. So we are now at Bayside Marketplace. on the corner of Northeast 4th Street. I see Eyeglass Lady says, good evening, Tom and all. Miami buildings are great. Good to see Eyeglass Lady. Yeah, John Paul says Miami is 3 states in 1. Funny. Yeah, Cosmos like Cole Haan needs to sponsor Tom. You never know. I'm just kidding. That'll never happen. Andy S says, please tell me you're not wearing white New Balance. Even worse. I'll show you. Actually, I won't show you guys. I'll let you be a little cliffhanger there. Cynthia, good to see you. I'm trying to figure out where we should go. Let's head over to the FTX arena because I want to get a little bit of a closer look at the Paramount Tower. Hey, Pixelogic says, Tom, what is that building in red? So that is the Freedom Tower. So here in Miami, we also have a Freedom Tower, and it is a structure for Cuban immigrants to the United States. So this is the Freedom Tower in downtown Miami. Hey, Andre Brown says, hello, Tom, how are you? What's up, Andre? Good to see you. Jancy says, hey, Tom, how are you? Great stream tonight. Thank you, Jancy. If you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Falling Iguana says, Tom, Colombians are mostly conservative as well. Yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear about that Colombians tend to lean right or vote conservative. I heard Cubans the same thing. Is that correct? I think Cubans also tend to lean a little bit Republican. Yeah, Lee's like, Tom wears Run DMC Adidas Superstars. That is true. Mike C says, I've never heard New Yorkers call One World Trade Center Freedom Tower. I call it that. I call it Freedom Tower, World Trade Center. The ABX girl says, yeah, the address is One World Trade Center, but sometimes I say Freedom Tower. One of the things I noticed, and a lot of the people that always say like, oh, a true New Yorker never says this, a true New Yorker never says that. The people who say that tend to be the transplants that come here from Ohio that are like 19 years old. Just in my experience. I could be wrong, but a lot of the people that are like, oh, you're not a true New Yorker if you don't do this. It's like, we just live our life, man. It's no big deal. So this is the Bayside Marketplace. And look, I love the people from Ohio that come here to New York City. Love them. Great people. MB says, good evening, Tom. Have you talked about Okta getting hacked? So yes, that is a big piece of news. So Okta is a cybersecurity company that specializes in identity and access management. And supposedly, you know, and this could get big, because what I believe is that Okta is trying to mask the seriousness of the hack. And I think they're doing that for good reason, because they don't want to cause pandemonium. But supposedly Okta, which is a cybersecurity company that specializes in identity and access management, was hacked. But I think as of now, we don't know the seriousness of the hack, but it could very, very well be bad. Nicole says, my company uses Okta. Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies use Okta. This is a stock we cover almost ad nauseum on the stream, and they are a leader in identity and access management software. And one of their biggest competitors is a company based out of Denver, Colorado called Ping Identity, P-I-N-G Identity. Yeah, out and about, it's like you're not a true New Yorker if you don't jaywalk. That's true. I know. DWG says the hacker had 5 days in Okta. I mean, that leads me to believe that this could be really large scale here. But we'll see. I think we're going to get more information as the days go on. But we'll see. You never know. Well, because that's what always happens, right? A lot of these companies will say, oh, it's not too bad. You know, we have it under control. And then it's really bad. Hey, EBITDA says, Tom, you should 100% be sponsored by a company. You could do it for PR. Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't hurt the stream quality either, yeah. EBITDA, you're right. So I do have a lot of different brands reaching out to me via email, but I don't know. I don't know. Very undecided right now if I want to have a sponsor or something like that. You know, I do get relentlessly hammered by a lot of these scam NFT projects. So really I mean, I don't really want to go into it because it's gonna sound like I'm talking bad about people, which I hate to do. But a lot of people on the internet that are promoting a lot of the NFTs, a lot of them are scams. If not, I could say conclusively pretty much all of them. So I would never do anything like that, but I get relentlessly pounded by them. Hey, QBiz is here. It says, hey, Tom in chat. What's up, QBiz? Let's see if we can see any dolphins in the water, any fish. Hey, Triple G says, Tom, if Apple wants to sponsor you, don't turn it down. Yeah, I wouldn't turn it down, but I don't think that'll ever happen. But good to see you, Triple G. Hey, Angie is here. It says, hi, good to see you, Angie. G Hope says, Tom, this is why I have always felt cybersecurity is more of an insurance policy than actual security. More smoke than substance. Yeah, I mean, in a way, you do make a point. But then again, I think that the vast majority of companies, you need some sort of cybersecurity solution. Yeah, it's almost a prerequisite. Yeah, Mike C. But to clarify, I don't think NFTs are scams. I don't. I think that a lot of ways people are utilizing the technology is scammy, if that makes sense. EBITDA says, Tom, you should definitely do it. You deserve some income for all of this. Think of it as a small donation from the regulars. No one would mind. You deserve extra income. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of just do this as a hobby. But I do understand what you're saying, EBITDA, for sure. 100%. I think just as long as I enjoy the streams, I'll continue to do them. If I ever don't enjoy it, I'll stop doing it. That's sort of how I operate. But I just sort of do it because I enjoy it. And I met a lot of interesting people. Like, you guys are extremely smart people. Very knowledgeable. So I think it's a good networking opportunity. Hey, Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Hey, Gregory says, if you are sponsored, you might have to censor yourself, etc. That's true. I think the only sponsorships I would do if like the Wall Street Journal or like Barron's or something, then I would say, yeah, sign up for the Wall Street Journal, because that's something I believe in, I guess. Mike C says, I've learned so much from you, Tom. It would be a sad day if you ever quit. I mean, just as long as I continue to enjoy it, I'll do it. I think this is a blast. But Daniel G, I'm doing really good. EBITDA says, I'm just saying that we would all be fine with it. I know you wouldn't charge much, and you should break even at the very least. Time is money. You should take, yeah, you're right. You're right, EBITDA. Hey, Chris Beeman, thank you so much, my friend Chris, for the $10 donation. You don't have to donate, but I appreciate you, Chris. Very kind of you. It says, for you, Tom, get some of the coffee you like from Joey. I will. That will be going directly into the AMI Coffee Fund. So thank you, Chris. You are very kind. Yeah, so QBiz says, Tom, the new phone seems way more clear. So I'm streaming from the iPhone 13 mini because unfortunately, when I was running to catch the bus, I did drop the phone, and the only thing that broke on the phone was the cameras. Can you believe that? Like, what luck. Both of the cameras on my iPhone 11, they broke. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to go to the Apple store next to the office and buy a new one. But if you guys do want to support the channel, the best way to do that is just by signing up for the Behind the Street newsletter that is completely free, doesn't cost you anything. Because I'm trying to become a better writer. My goal over the next 2 years is to improve my writing skills. So I'm using the newsletter as a practice to not only get my financial thoughts out on the US market, so the US stock market, as well as emerging markets, as well as commodities, but improve my writing ability. So everybody knows about the 10,000 hour rule. If you do something for 10,000 hours, you're gonna get better. So I think if I write the Behind the Street newsletter every single week, consistently for 2 years, that's probably gonna be 10,000 hours. And maybe I'll be a better writer. So here is the sign for Bayside Marketplace. Hey, Jamad is here. It says, hey Tom, nice to see you and good morning. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you as well. 007 says, most capitalists are demonetized these days, or demonized these days. Tom is changing a lot of minds. Thank you, 007. Appreciate you, my friend. Chris says, I really like the new phone. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Western Mass Dave, you're too kind. I appreciate it. Yeah, Robert makes the comment about the exhaust. So perhaps there's different rules and regulations in New York, because every time you walk around in New York, the cars aren't really loud. I think there's a lot of big exhaust and loud cars here in Florida, mainly because the regulations aren't as strict. I don't know. But it seems like nobody has a muffler in this state, which is kind of crazy. Hey, G-Hope says, your newsletter is impressive. Appreciate it, G-Hope. Hey, UPS1 says, all right, Tom, Friday we chatted, and you thought the 4 up days were covering shorts. 2 days into the week, have you changed your thesis? So we did have a follow-through day, UPS1. So anytime we have a follow-through day, I buy at least the leaders, or the true market leaders. So even though I think that this could be mostly short covering, anytime there's a follow-through day, I gotta follow the rules and at least buy something, even if it's only 1 to 3% of equity. I did send out the Behind the Street newsletter, and I did include some actionable ideas. So the 2 true market leaders that I see right now are Palo Alto Networks and NVIDIA, which I own both of them. So I think those are my two best ideas, Palo Alto Networks and NVIDIA. But we'll see if the market rolls over and it hits my 7% stop loss, I'll be out. But in my long-short portfolio, I am starting to ease back in the market based upon those two follow-through days we've had. But obviously the risk of them failing is higher, but we'll see. But what do you think, UPS? Do you think that the bottom is in? Daniel G says, I'm studying writing to start a tech developer blog. Daniel, if you ever started, let me know. I'll subscribe to it. I'm very interested in that. G-Hope says, hopefully long with NVIDIA. Agreed. Good to see you. Hey, Two Explorers Videos says, by the end of the winter in New York, about half the mufflers are missing, no need to mod them. Yeah, it's true. EBITDA. Yes, as everybody and their mother is recommending those two stocks. Yeah, I tend to anything that's showing relative strength, right? I mean, I can't buy a stock that's down, 60% from all-time record highs. There's just too much overhead supply there. Really, the only very frothy high beta names that I do own is like a Zoom Info, ticker symbol ZI. I think that's a great company. But during the 2020 pandemic, my biggest moneymaker was Atlassian, ticker symbol TEAM, which is an Australian software company. If it gets back above its 50-day, I think Atlassian would be buyable again, but we'll see how it plays out. I try to let the market pull me back in. I try to not get too emotional, but I did deploy some cash after the follow-through day for sure. That's the only thing that concerns me about the market is there's a lot of lack of setups. Like if you look at a Twilio, for example, Twilio used to be a true market leader, but now Twilio is, still 60% from all-time record highs. CrowdStrike may be actionable, but we'll see. Yogi says, what do you think of Michael Saylor? So Michael Saylor, we are going to be front row and center watching Michael Saylor's keynote speech at the Bitcoin 2022 conference. So if you want to see Michael Saylor's keynote speech, we do have a press pass, so we will be there for that. EBITDA says, do you trade options? Yeah, I got in Atlassian at like 150 and exited at 330. Very nice. Yeah, so EBITDA, I bought Atlassian almost near IPO and sold it right when it cracked its 50-day moving average on higher than normal volume once we had this big tech stock sell-off. So even though I didn't catch the exact high, I probably sold it about 25% from its all-time high. I was up hundreds of percent on the trade. But look, I think Atlassian is going to follow the same trajectory as a ServiceNow. So ServiceNow, another enterprise software company, the CEO is Bill McDermott. Bill McDermott is a phenomenal tech titan, former SAP guy. And I think Atlassian is going to follow the same earnings and sales trajectory as a ServiceNow. Nick Rock says, Tom, I have heard you reference follow-through day quite often. What does it mean? Yeah, so a follow-through day is whenever the market is in a downtrend or whenever the market is in a correction. Anytime the market tries to turn around 2 days after the first initial rally attempt, on the third and the fourth day, if the market finishes higher than the previous day on higher than average volume, that is considered a follow-through day, which usually means larger institutional investors are buying back into the market. So it can be like a bottom signal. So Not every follow-through day is going to work, but there has never been a new bull market that started without a follow-through day. So every single new bull market has started with the follow-through day, but not all of them will work, and they'll keep you out of trouble. But if you want to know a little bit more in depth about that, I write about it every week in the free financial newsletter. It is the first link in the description, or if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, you can read about it. And I also post a lot of videos about it too, so like educational videos. EBITDA says, hell yeah, that's a great trade, no need to be greedy. Congrats, thank you, EBITDA. Have you bought more at this bottom? I have not, so I don't own any Atlassian. Here's my thing, I'm very tempted to, and I think this is my psychology faulting me here. So I'm very tempted to participate in a lot of these oil stocks, but then again, that would be considered style drifting for me because I don't cover these oil stocks. I cover enterprise software. So I'd rather just sit this market out until we have some more strength in these enterprise software and tech names. But I do own Palo Alto Networks and NVIDIA in my managed account. But in my IRA, I'm always long the S&P, and I buy more on the 18th of every month. So speaking of no muffler, well, this is a nice car though, I think. This is a Lambo. This is very nice. Not really my style, but it's a very nice car. Hey, Gary says, Tom, Howard Schultz is coming back. So a lot of people were saying that in the chat. I'm very excited for that. Very excited. George says, imagine the poor trying to buy food for the fam. I think unfortunately it's going to be a lot worse. Mark Sage says, Tom, are you a car guy? Not really. I really don't drive too often. But if I did have to get a car, I'd probably get a Tesla. So let me know if you guys could hear the wind noise, because the wind is probably about 30 miles an hour right now. So let me know if the microphone is doing a good job. Hey, Laytha is here. Good to see you, Laytha. George, good to see you. Brad's Brains. There's a lot of car guys. Sound awesome. Good to see you. San Miguel, welcome. Good to see you, San Miguel. Yes, Forever 18 says Tesla is not just make the car. They build an ecosystem like Google does. Yeah, so I think actually Tesla is probably more of a data company than it is a car company, right? Because if you think about it, every single mile a Tesla drives, that car is collecting data, which then goes back to the cloud, where Tesla engineers can improve their autonomous driving and things like that. So Tesla is just as much a data company as Alphabet or Microsoft. So I think you make a good point there. So this boat is called South Beach Lady. Very interesting. Hey, XOXX Bob is here. Says, hey, good evening, Tom. What's up, Bob? QBiz says it's amazing how Tesla is such a popular brand. Yeah, brands are the number one thing. I mean, they have their the head of marketing at Tesla is probably the best marketer alive, and that is Elon Musk. Hey, Kel says, isn't there a curfew in Miami now? I think there is. So I think there is a curfew in Miami for 12 o'clock. Is that correct? And I think that's because a lot of the spring breakers are being a little bit too rowdy, having the guns out and shooting each other and stuff like that. Two Explorers videos, good to see you. Hey, the Swan says the sound is great tonight, Tom. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Yeah, so we do have the microphone tonight. I finally was able to buy that little adapter from Apple You know, that little adapter, what's it called? It's called the lightning cable to auxiliary adapter. That little thing's $10. Crazy. And I literally got the last one. They were sold out. Hey, Lisa is here. Says, hey, Tom, good to see you, Lisa. So this building right here is 1000 Museum. And it has a helicopter pad on the roof. Kind of crazy. Hey, Kel Sonic, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Well, check out this yacht over here in the distance. But the one thing I wanted to say about Nike's earnings report, just to briefly wrap it up, I know we've been talking about it for a while, but their CFO essentially said sales or revenue would have been higher this quarter, but they've actually ran out of some key products. So think about that. Not only did Nike beat on both the top and the bottom line, they would have actually had higher revenues because the demand was so high, but due to supply chain restrictions and constraints and the big mess that's going on in the world with the supply chain, a lot of these products are back ordered. So they said there's a massive demand for Nike products. Their revenue would have been much higher, by probably about 1 or 2 points, but there's literally no supply. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, Gregory says it looks like a palace. Hey, Marty Lewis says, Tom, I bought that adapter for wired headphones 2 years ago, and then I bought Bluetooth headphones. I keep it just in case I need it. Little thing. Everything Apple is so overpriced. Yeah, that's true. Marty Lewis, at Apple's last keynote event, one of their newest products was a cleaning cloth, a microfiber cleaning cloth that is going for $30, and it's sold out. Crazy. I wonder who walks into the Apple stores like, yeah, I really want to get this nice microfiber cleaning cloth. Hey, Lady O, good to see you. Lady O is our moderator from New Jersey. Good to see you. So we'll check out the yacht here. I think this one is a bit smaller than the one that we saw 2 weeks ago, which was the Swiss. I think he used to own 2 pharmaceutical companies that he sold. And he used to park his yacht right here. And it had a helicopter on top of the yacht. But this is the FTX Arena, right across the waterway here. Oh, I think that was something jumping out of the water. I think you guys just missed that. Hey, Sally is here. This is a beautiful view, Tom. What's up, Sally? Good to see you. Ken, what's up? Yo, Shop by Scott is here. Shop by Scott says, hey, Tom and folks. Shop by Scott is a photographer here in the 305. Please check him out. He's the one who recommended Wynwood to me, which is now my favorite spot in Miami. You know, we would be streaming from Wynwood a lot more often, but the cellular network is not too good in Wynwood, but it is a phenomenal place. Ruby Falcon's like, Tom, I saw your hand and I thought it was something in the water. So the lights from the boat, sometimes we could see some fish or some dolphins. I was about to say flying around in here, swimming around. San Miguel, good to see you. Ken Dreyer, good to see you. Hey, Brad's Brain says, I'd like to find a contrarian institutional buyer. Housing play long-term short, if you will. Builders are building, and I think that will continue when supply returns. Yeah, so Brad, I think it may have been you or photos from around New York. I forget who it was, but they brought to my attention the brand new 60 Minutes piece that just came out, where they talked about, and we talk about this all the time in the stream, about how institutional investors from BlackRock and such are actually buying a lot of the single-family home inventory in the United States and using it to produce rental income. And it seems as if a lot of the institutions on Wall Street are trying to figure out a way to park their cash to generate even more cash flow to protect from inflation. So if there's so much money flying around out there, I mean, Wall Street is literally awash with capital. So they don't need any new capital. They just want to figure out how they could park their money in order to beat the hurdle rate of inflation. So if they could take a couple $100 million, throw it into a couple real estate deals, in which case those real estate deals will produce even more free cash, you know, they're going to do it. So I think on one of the streams we talked about Invitation Homes, which is a big real estate investment trust that owns a lot of single family as well as multifamily. But check out that 60 Minutes interview. So if you type !news, NEWS, scroll down to like midway in the page and you'll be able to see the 60 Minutes interview where they cover all of the Wall Street institutional buying of single family homes. Wow, this ship is amazing. Hey, Sparks says, Tom, Netflix is cracking down on password sharing. Yeah, I did hear about that. If that's true, and if Netflix is really going to put the hammer down on password sharing, we could probably see Netflix revenue double within the quarter, because I can guarantee you almost everybody in this chat shares a Netflix password with somebody. Am I wrong to say that? Let's do a little bit of a survey, and trust me, I won't tell any of the authorities. I won't tell Reed Hastings at Netflix, I promise. Do you guys share Netflix password? Hey, Cole is here. Good to see you, Cole. Welcome. Richard Walters says, Tom, I just read an article from Bloomberg that global bonds plunged 11% from peak. Does that spell trouble? Well, yields move inverse of bond prices, right? So when you have a sell-off in bond prices, yields go up. So a lot of the times we talk about really the only way you're going to know if it's going to be the big 2008 moment where indices plunge 50% is when you have an uncontrolled sell-off in the debt market where you'll see yields spike uncontrollably. That means everybody is dumping their bonds, right? But I believe the 10-year Treasury yield is sitting at about 2.23%, which is it's not like an uncontrolled spike. So I think if the 10-year Treasury could sit right around like 2.3, 2.5 and not spike uncontrollably, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. But just remember, so whenever you read an article that says bonds are plunging, yields are going up and vice versa. Wow, Roberts is $40 million yacht according to Google. Wow, it's insane. Boost says, Tom, Netflix revenue may decrease due to people bothered by the crackdown. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on how much you value Netflix, right? I mean, if you value it, you're probably going to buy it. But you actually make a good point. Cubiz says, I found out a year after I broke up with my ex-girlfriend that she was still using my Netflix account. Yikes. Latha, the security on the yacht is watching Tom closely. Hopefully they watch the stream. Brad's Brain says, yeah, I saw that on 60 Minutes. I'm not convinced it's going to eliminate the single buyer long term, though the images when/if they dump it. It's fast. Yeah, I don't think they're going to dump the real estate. I think they just want to hold it as an inflation hedge. And also, real estate is a good way to avoid taxes, right? So if you dump or you sell a ton of real estate, you're gonna have a huge tax bill, unless you do an exchange, in which case you roll that capital gains into another deal, kicking your taxes down the road. But in most cases, you don't want to really sell your real estate. Once you buy it, you want to hold on to that for life. But if there does come a time where you do need to sell your real estate, you probably should have another deal lined up right away, so you can roll those profits into that deal, so you can avoid paying the taxes, or you kick the can down the road a little bit. But you never really want to sell real estate. You never really want to do that. Lady O says, Tom, you need to sport a hat or t-shirt with your stream name on it so billionaires will know about your channel. Very interesting, very cool. There's a couple very prominent hedge fund managers that I think we would all know on the stream that do read the newsletter. I'm not sure how they found it, but they do read it, which is, I was quite surprised at that. Okay, I'll give you one more look at the FTX arena from across the water here. Jel says Netflix, big thumbs down. Hey, Randy the Machine is here. Good to see you. Yeah, Miami Walking, a 1031 exchange. You're 100% correct. You know, a lot of big institutions on Wall Street, they're so awash with cash that they're not even taking new money. You know, you could say, hey, I got $100 million, manage it for me. A lot of them will just say no. They already have so much money. And that's the thing, with all of this money printing that's been going around, there's not a shortage of money, right? There's really not. A lot of institutions on Wall Street are flooded with money. They can't take on new money. Hey, UPS1 says, tweet from Market Rebellion. I like Market Rebellion. That's the Najarian twins, I believe. They're really cool. I like them. Tweet from Market Rebellion says, Russian soldiers are surrendering tanks to Ukraine in exchange for $10,000 and a citizenship. Is that verifiable? Can we verify that? Western Mass Dave says, Tom, make me a happy boy and get me a coffee mug. I'll get you a Behind the Street or a Walks on Wall Street coffee mug. I'll get you one. Mike Simmons, you and me both. Fun. Good to see you, Mike. Fabio says, hello from Italy. Welcome everybody from Italy. Good to see you. Steph says, Tom, can you explain what you mean by you should never sell real estate? Well, I mean, I think the goal of life, right, is you want to be able to acquire assets that in turn generate free cash flow. So if you, like, let's say, for example, you buy, you know, your first property you buy, let's say you buy a duplex. So it's a 2-family house, you live on one side, you rent out the other side, and your tenant is subsidizing your cost of living, right? That's a good thing. And then when your mortgage is all paid off, you know, now that house or your asset is going to be an absolute cash flow generating machine. So the way I think about it is, it's not, this new world economy, as I like to call it, is not how it was when my parents grew up, where they got a job at IBM or GE and they had a massive pension. Right now, all the employers are putting your retirement in your hands. You're responsible for your retirement. There's no pensions anymore. So what you want to do is you want to, as soon as possible, as soon as you can, you want to start acquiring assets that can generate free cash, so when you retire, you can live off of it as an annuity type deal, right? Because it's not the same how it used to be, where you work at a private institution and then they pay you for the rest of your life even though you don't work there. They've forced that on you with all these 401k programs and things like that. So when I mean never sell real estate, I mean if you're working for yourself or you're working for a company, you want to at least take some of your you want to at least take some of your cash or your investments and invest it into real estate that can then generate more cash for you, if that makes sense. And the reason why you don't want to sell it is because usually over time, real estate tends to appreciate in value. And if you sell it, you're going to be open to a big tax bill. So what I would do is I would work on paying down your mortgage and then do a cash out refinance and use that money, which is not taxed at all, to acquire more properties, right? Which generates you more free cash. So that's sort of, and that's my opinion. Everybody may not have the same opinion as me, but that's what I would do. Hey Joyce, thank you so much. Appreciate it, Joyce. Thank you for joining. So this is my favorite building here in downtown Miami, which is the 1000 Museum. Beautiful down here. Yeah, Gregory says IBM removed the pensions in the 90s. Crazy management. You're right. You're 100% correct. Yeah, Brad's brain, I think you make a good point. Sunshine, New York. Good to see you, Sunshine. Hope you're well. Always good to see Sunshine. This Swan is like, Tom, keep an eye out for the canoe. I parked it over there. We will. Mike C says, some age 50 plus people have legacy pensions. You're correct. If you are occurring on pensions anymore. Miami walking and driving tours. Second museum tower came out. Much more cooler than the first one. Is this the second one or the first one? This one is amazing. Just look at the architecture on that. Coffee spill, you have to do what's called a 1031 exchange. And look, in my opinion, you need a place to live. Shelter, I think, is one of the most important things in your life. So I think as young as you can, as soon as you can, if you can acquire a place to live and have somebody else subsidize the cost, I think that's a good thing. When you get old, you're going to need a place to live. You need food to eat. So if you have shelter and if you can build that infrastructure as soon as possible, I think it's a good thing. Wow, Miami Walking Tours said most of the units are one per floor. So each unit is its own floor there. Insane. So I'll show everybody the Paramount building for St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, Mike C says, Tom, Boeing dropped their pensions in 2007. Yes. Shot by Scott is like, Tom, you need a place at the Aston Martin building. Too funny. Well, shot by Scott, the Bentley Tower is going up by you, isn't it? Hey, Richard says many people are left opening their own IRA accounts. That is true. Lady O says, Tom, is there a WeWork here in Miami? Yes. So I think there's multiple locations. There's one location in Wynwood. The one that I tend to be out of the most is the one in Brickell, or Brickell City Center. And that place, I mean, the vibe of the working environment at the Brickell City Center is unmatched. I feel so productive when I work there. That's one of my favorite WeWorks ever I've been to. It's right there in the Brickell City Center. Amazing. So I want to take a quick walk over to behind the Paramount building. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to hit the like button, leave a like on the video. Jessica says, what about selling a primary residence to purchase a cheaper home and keeping the profits? What are your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on how much of your equity, or your net worth, I should say, is tied up in your home equity. So a lot of the times people will sell their primary residence to try to downsize or something like that. But the only problem in this market, a lot of people that are trying to downsize are having a really, really hard time doing so because there's no inventory on the market, which is crazy. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of people very reluctant to list their homes on the market for sale. Because even if you do sell your home in this environment and you make out really good, and you sell your house for a lot of money and you make a pretty hefty profit, you know, you have to go right back into this housing market and try to buy another one. Man, it is so windy outside today, but I'm so happy we do have the microphone. I'm so surprised you guys can't hear the wind. Hey, XOXX Bob says, Tom, I know of a weekly online site that covers Miami real estate and it's free. Can I mention it here? Absolutely, please. Please, please, please mention that. Also, XOXX Bob, I'm not sure if you are a member of the Discord. If you look in the links in the description of this video, somewhere right here, you will see the link to our Discord. Please join it. It is free. It's a place where we network, we talk about career opportunities. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow at Walks Wall Street on Twitter, where we tend to post different thoughts about the market, a lot of equity research. So please feel free to follow us on there on Twitter at Walks Wall Street. Yeah, G-Hope is like, you should never go with that at the microphone again. True. Bob says it's called the Next Miami. I think I am subscribed to that. So here is another look at 1000 Museum, but from the backside. Hey, insurance practice exams. Good to see you. Says hello everybody. John says Miami Art. Alan Wilson says, Tom, don't lose the adapter again. I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna hold on to this thing for dear life. But this is pretty cool here. Look at all this artwork here. Fabio G, good to see you. Welcome. So talking about consumer demand, Nike said Monday that consumer demand continues to outpace supplies of products. Nike finance chief Matthew Friend told analysts that supplies of goods were beginning to improve, but transit times remained elevated. So that just goes to show Nike has such a strong brand that the CFO said in the earnings report that they could have sold more product, but they were totally sold out and they couldn't get new product in due to global supply chain shortages. So kind of crazy. Shop by Scott says, do you have 100 mic cord wrapped around you? No, I don't. It's actually a pretty short cord, but it is a corded microphone. Jessica says, do you offer one-on-one paid consultation? If so, how much do you charge? I don't. But if you want to connect, I think the best place to do it is LinkedIn. So if you look in the description of this video, feel free to follow Behind the Street on LinkedIn. If you want to send me a message there, I'm more than happy to connect and network. But no, I don't really charge. In my business, I do. I charge large enterprise customers for tech consulting, but not for the YouTube channel. We just do this for fun. Al Baker says, Tom, do you think Nike will leave the brick and mortar stores? I think so. I think they may. And the reason why I think that is because, so here's out of the Wall Street Journal article. It says Nike sales grew in the latest period as the sneaker maker benefited from gains in its digital business while navigating supply chain snarls and getting factories in Asia where its goods are made back into full production. So notice what they said. Digital business. So Nike is really trying to transition from their traditional brick and mortar business to online retail sales via e-commerce. Also, they are dabbling in the metaverse and trying to build a SaaS business model for workout products and things like that. So I think Nike has a rock solid management team, and I think that as time goes on, you're going to see companies like Nike, Adidas, transition to probably about 60% of all of their sales by 2030 will be 100% online. And I think they could do it. And I'm very bullish on subscription products sold by Nike for workout and things like that. You know, I think since Peloton stock is so depressed, I think Nike should buy Peloton for pennies on the dollar. I mean, that stock, that company is horrible. I think Nike should buy it for pennies on the dollar and turn it around. Check out the detailing job on that. Shop by Scott's like, Tommy, you covered in Post-it notes behind the camera. How do you keep track of all the articles and stats for the stream? I have a photographic memory. No, sometimes I carry like a little piece of paper. Sometimes I do write show notes for the show, but other times I memorize them. Yeah, Peloton is a horrible, horrible company. No offense to Peloton. Hey, Discover says, very super cars. Good to see you. Wow, Coffee Spill says, Tom, I already get my Chuck Taylors from online. You can design your own. Very cool. Carnival says, Kathy Wood was recently on Chris Hayes' podcast. Why is this happening on the future of innovation? Yeah, Cubiz, I saw that on the earnings call too. Nike is supposedly removing their inventory from Foot Locker. Jeremiah says, it must feel good out there. Beautiful night. Yeah, Jeremiah, it's a beautiful night here. Not too hot. A little bit windy, but not too hot. But Jessica and Lisa, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. And join the Discord, and we will be happy to network. Wow, Sunshine New York says your son filmed for Peloton. Awesome. So we are now on Northeast 1st Avenue. So we'll turn the corner here. Hey, Disco says, I am from Brazil. Welcome everybody from Brazil. Good to see you. Lori E says, Peloton works great as a workout gear holder. Yeah, I think a lot of the Peloton bikes have turned into towel racks. So when people come out of the shower, they place their towel right on the Peloton bike. So it looks like another building is going up for construction too. You know, I think since it's so windy, we may take the Metro Mover back to the bus. What do you guys think? Should we jump on the Metro Mover back to the bus? Hey, Penelope is here. What's up, Penelope? Good to see you. Yeah, Western Mass Dave. Yeah, just to give you guys an idea, we have the microphone today, but look at how windy it is. This just gives you an idea of how crazy the wind is. All of this ripped right off the glass. Hey, the ABX girl says Peloton app for $14 a month. You do not need their bike. Yeah, that is true. You're right, ABX girl. You actually don't need the bike to buy the subscription. Wow, Lady O says, Tom, Louisiana was hit with a tornado. That's not good. Well, supposedly New York is supposed to get a lot of storms very soon. This is how sad life has become. We're excited about a virtual ride on the Metro Mover. So this is the metaverse right here, guys. We're all gonna, 500 of us are gonna jump on board the Metro Mover. So this is what I was talking about before. So a lot of the new developments in Miami, like look at, that's probably like 5 stories off the ground. So all of this space is a parking garage because we get so much flooding here. So even if you have massive flooding, it's not going to affect the actual buildings because it's just all parking garage. Hey, Coffee Spill, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Said Metro Mover time. Good to see you, Coffee Spill. Thank you for being here. So this is the Omni Loop. Coffee Spill, thank you for the support. I appreciate it very much. You are very, very kind. So this is Park West. So we have to take it to Freedom Tower. Yeah, so we have to take it one more to Freedom Tower. Ken says they can build on it later too. Nice investment. True. The Metro Mover is 4.8 miles long. Oh shit. What's up?
You need a mask to be on the platform.
To do what?
You need a mask to be on the platform.
Oh yeah, I got it in my bag. Come on. Scared the hell out of me, man.
Stand back from the platform edge. Allow passengers to exit the vehicle before boarding.
Está llegando un tren a Downtown. Mantenerse alejado del borde de la plataforma.
So even though this is outside, you do need a mask to be on the platform.
Attention passengers.
They actually have a police officer up here enforcing a mask on the outdoor platform.
At all times while Violators may be denied boarding and removed from the transit system. We appreciate your cooperation and thank you for choosing Metro Uber.
Okay. All right, so we will see. So we're going to take it one stop.
This is Park West Station. Please stand clear of the doors and hold the handrails.
But I do like how they have a police officer at every train station. That is good for safety, for sure.
The next stop is College North Station. Transfer here for Inaloo.
All right, so we're going to take it one stop to the Freedom Tower. Hey, Action Kid, what's up, my friend? Says, I thought Freedom Tower Station was closed for renovation. Is it really? Well, that's not good, because that's where we're going. We're good to see Action Kid. So you can see the Bayside Marketplace. But Action Kid, good to see you here, my friend. So it looks like we went out of our way.
Please hold on. The train is approaching. College North Station. Transfer here for
But the Metro Mover is extremely clean. Very, very clean. Very good, very nice. Hey, Jonathan Richards, good to see you. Says you love the Metro Mover. So I think I got to get off here. So this is College North. You know, one of the things I like about the Metro Mover is how clean it is. And I think the reason why it's so clean is because there's no seats. Well, there's a couple seats. But everybody has to stand up, so that means there's no people that are able to sleep and things like that. The station's actually pretty nice.
Reminds passengers to wear a face covering and maintain social distancing at all times while on vehicles at stations and transit stops. Violators may be denied boarding and removed from the transit system. We appreciate your cooperation and thank you for choosing Metro Mover. Passengers, for your safety, stand back from the platform edge.
Wow, check out the view from here. You could see Miami Tower or the City National Bank building.
Stand back from the platform edge. Thank you for your cooperation.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it looks like they just did this entire road here. And we were talking about this on the last stream, that I wasn't too fond of the bike lanes being with the cars, but now they have a dedicated bike lane right here.
Attention passengers, Miami-Dade County reminds passengers to wear a face covering
But let's head out.
social distancing at all times while on vehicles at stations and transit stops. Violators may be denied boarding and removed from the transit system. We appreciate your cooperation and thank you for choosing Metro Mover.
MZ says, you and Action Kid are inspiring me to start doing walks in West Palm Beach. You know, I would watch that. I want to see West Palm Beach. But Action Kid, good to see you here, my friend. Hopefully you are settling in to your place. Look at this unopened thing of orange juice. It's almost as if somebody set a trap for me, because you guys know I love orange juice. I'm not going to fall for the trap, don't worry. All right, so this is the College North Station, and we will walk back to the bus But let's check out the ticker tape, which is one of my favorite things here at Miami-Dade College. Dalio. Could you guys imagine if New York City Transit was as clean as the Metro Mover? We would have the best, well, I think we already do have the best transit system in the world, but I wouldn't say the cleanest. Hey, take me to the sea, says Tom, your streams are so perfect and clear, both audio and visual. Well, hopefully the audio quality is a little bit better today since we do have the microphone. Yeah, Sunshine, New York says clean and smooth streets. So if you look to your left, you're going to be able to see the stock ticker tape, which will read out all the quotes of the stock prices, which I just think is so cool. Hey, Action Kids says, I've ridden the Miami Bus, Metro Rail, Tri-Rail, Metro Mover, and the Brightline, all clean. Yeah, so I take either the 120, the S, and the 3 bus, and I've never had an issue. Really nice, really clean, very well kept. But this is the Financial Technology and Trading Lab. Hey, Joseph is here. So sup, love the stream. Good to see you, Joseph. Shot by Scott. Thank you for joining in tonight. I appreciate it. So this says the Digital Marketing and Social Media Center. So JP Morgan was up 2 points today, $142. Alphabet, $2,796. Disney was up. ExxonMobil was down. Procter & Gamble, $151.88. Visa, $218. Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB. Well, Berkshire Hathaway, if you buy the actual stock, I believe it just crossed $500,000 a share for the first time ever. But this is also an extremely clean and well-kept college campus too. Hey, Dutchman says, Tom, on top of all of this, your newsletters are very informative and awesome. Thank you, Dutchman. I appreciate it. Thank you for reading. Justin says, Miami is very beautiful and clean. Japan is not the cleanest anymore. Really, I always heard about Japan being an extremely clean country in general. I would love to visit Tokyo. That is one of my goals in life. Yes, somewhat knowledge. There's a cheaper Berkshire Hathaway stock. I think it's BKR.B. But if you want to get like the A shares and have like the voting rights and all the nonsense. But you're 100% spot on. So this is Northeast 4th Street here at the Miami-Dade College, which I believe is now a 4-year college. According to some of our viewers, this used to be a community college back in the day. Fabio, good to see you. Oh man, everybody, I just looked at the time. We've been streaming for 2 hours. So we will walk back to the bus. I do have to head home. Oh, I have to get up early tomorrow morning. I'm flying back to New York. And then we're going to be in Philadelphia. So hopefully the weather holds out so we could do a quick stream in Philadelphia. Very excited for that. I've never been there before. So very excited. So this is the College Station also. But maybe this is how you get it on the way back, I guess. So does any Miami, maybe Shop by Scott knows? Oh, this is College Bayside Station. That was something else. Yeah, Chris Beeman is like, Tom, we've been sending you the time for about an hour. Appreciate that, Chris. Tesla. You know, I'm working on an integration to the stream where anytime we see a Tesla on the stream, we'll have a Tesla counter at the top right-hand corner of the stream. And when we're in New York, I think the gimbal died. Hold on. Oh no, it didn't die. That was just the wind. That's how strong the wind is. War Walker says College North was the other station. Copy that. 10-4. So is this going to be where they're doing the Waldorf Astoria residences? Supposedly somebody said, even though this looks like where it's going to be, this is actually not where it's going to be. So the Waldorf Astoria building is supposed to be the tallest residential apartment building south of One World Trade Center. Hey, Jim Martin, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Hey, the investigator, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, UPS 1, Alibaba has been having a massive rally. Okay, now we're going to walk back to the bus where we will end the stream. But I appreciate everybody joining tonight. If you enjoyed this live stream, feel free to leave a like on the video. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, feel free to sign up for the Behind the Street newsletter, which is a free, 100% free financial newsletter I write every Monday, talking about not only the US equity markets, emerging markets, and commodities. If you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter. If you want to connect with us on Twitter, you could follow us at Walks Wall Street. And we will see you right back here tomorrow. Actually, maybe not tomorrow because we're going to be in New York. I'm not too sure if I'm going to have time to stream, but I'll see everybody tomorrow. So Laytha, thank you so much. DWG, Abdullah, the Swan, John, Marty Lewis, all of our moderators, Mary Jane, I appreciate it. The Investigator, EBITDA, Shot by Scott, Photos from Around New York, and everybody. Sherry, I appreciate you. Western Mass Dave, appreciate it. And to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there is always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Subscribe if you are new, hit the like button. Have a good night, everybody.